All right, welcome into our semifinals here at the 2015 USBC Team USA Trials from the Orleans in Las Vegas. I'm Lucas Wiseman along with Chris Barnes. We're ready to get started with our opening match of this abbreviated stepladder finals, just a three-player stepladder. So the semifinals, AJ Chapman versus Kamron Doyle and Shannon Pluhowsky against Liz Johnson. Chris, any early thoughts as we kind of get started here?
Well, Kamron was the second seed. He got to pick the pattern. He picked the 35-foot Beijing pattern, which is the shortest of the patterns this week. Liz got to pick the ladies' patterns. It's 41-foot pattern. Watching him practice, AJ was struggling a little bit to get him lined up, and as you can see already, has gone high. He is not comfortable at the moment, and Kamron had pretty good reaction, although he did have to put a little more surface on a ball right at the end of practice.
All right, so our semifinals are going to happen concurrently, same time here, and in a little bit of a change from last year, the championship matches will bowl individually. So it's going to be a little fast and furious here in the semifinal, but things will slow down a little bit as we move into the final here in a little bit as Shannon Pluhowsky steps up in the first frame. The winner of this tournament gets to go to the Cubica AMF Bowling World Cup. Some small prize money as well, but the World Cup kind of the big prize today. Chris, you won last year. You got to go to the World Cup. You won the World Cup. It's a pretty cool experience.
It is a great trip. It's a prestigious title, and you know, I don't know where it's going to be this next year, but generally speaking, it's at one of the newest centers, and they are great hosts. They do a fantastic job of putting on an event, a top-notch event that's worthy of the name of World Cup. And last year was the 50th. This year will be the 51st. You see Liz had started off with a strike already. Shannon with an early air here with 6-2. I think both these players on the ladies' side both bowled very well in this pattern. I don't know that anybody in particular has an advantage overall, but in general on the fresh, I think Liz is probably one of the best shot makers in the history of the women's game. So you probably have to give her a little bit of an edge here until, as the lanes would break down, they would think they might get a little more open on the left, though they are kind of what they are, and Shannon bowled well throughout the qualifying on that pattern as well.
And Shannon, as the higher seed in the match, got to pick the pattern, as did Kamron Doyle. And kind of a shaky start in the men's match. Both young players, both going to have their first time on Team USA, because the players who made it to the stepladder are automatically on Team USA. But it'll be interesting to see how they react here in this match. They both have some experience, but there's a lot on the line here today.
Absolutely, and AJ came in as number 5th. He was 5th in the overall rankings with a day to go, and he put on an exhibition day. Well from the very beginning all the way through the end. Struggled maybe one game there in the middle, but not terribly, and had a great day to move himself up into the stepladder. Kamron, who started as our leader, really struggled for the most part most of the day, and had a great game 5, shoots 278, and got himself into a comfortable position for actual Team USA and the big goal. But in game 6, struggled a little bit, had a tough pair. The whole pair actually struggled quite a bit, with the exception of Marshall Kent, who shot 278, ran to the lead, and Kamron had a split in the 10th to end up falling 3 positions, which ultimately cost him the top seed by 1 point.
Yeah, and we're going to see Marshall Kent in the next match. He's going to be waiting for the winner of this Doyle versus Chapman match, and the winner of Pluhowsky versus Johnson is going to get the not-so-easy task of bowling Danielle McEwan, who really, I guess you would say, dominated all week, led from start to finish pretty much.
Yeah, as much as you can in a format like this with a field this strong. She put an exhibition on this week as well. Kamron with a bad break there on the left lane. He left the 7-10, and so despite being lined up pretty well, will probably be at a deficit after 2 frames.
And AJ pitches that one a little bit to the right, and probably pretty happy that it's just a 2-8 standing there right now.
Yeah, this pair in particular, especially the left lane, does hook more than the right lane. Has over the last couple of years, and it tends to hook a little sooner than some of the other pairs. So it will be most likely who can figure out the difference between the 2 lanes will have the advantage. Liz there with a flat 10. 3 good shots by her, but no doubles, and so Pluhowsky will have a chance to get up and throw a double and basically even up the match.
AJ covers it up, so he leads by 11 pins very early here in our semifinal matches. Just a one-game match. Winner advances to the championship match. Everybody who's made it to this point already on Team USA. And right after the final tonight, we'll be announcing the selections for Team USA as well as Junior Team USA.
The interesting thing about the short pattern the men are bowling on is normally you want to play the gutter, but at the Orleans here, the gutter doesn't hook very much. So, virtually you have to make the gutter. And as I say that, AJ throws one in, and
he almost did last frame as well.
Yeah, the virtual gutter is really more like 4 here. You don't really want to get it outside of that, and which makes it very tough, generally speaking, for a short pattern. You end up playing much further in, closer to where the pattern's flat. See Shannon stepping up and walking through the small opening that Liz left her. And now we have a 1-pin match over on the ladies' side through 3 frames.
And 1 pin on the guys' side as well. So early on, still pretty close.
I hadn't taken in the gutter ball.
The gutter on the spare, yeah.
And that one's well inside the last one. And this is what I saw through practice with AJ. He was really struggling with figuring out whether to play in or out. This is one of the few patterns I actually will good on this week. If it was me, I would move left off that big 4. I saw players playing much further left on this 35-foot pattern than traditionally you're able to do with just 35 feet. Shannon there with a 3-9 coming up just a little bit light.
So far, it's a pretty timid scoring pace. It's not. Sometimes you see that in these matches where it takes a little bit of time for things to settle in, especially with the young guys.
And the scores all week, for the most part, are lower this first game than they are later on. So
Kamron gets lucky, gets the 7 out. This looks like it might be a grind out kind of game in our men's semifinal.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for. And Shannon slides by the 3-9, and 2 errors now by Shannon, leaving Liz to an opening to walk through. If she now up by 15, a chance to double to put it to 25.
Once again, the championship match will be coming up right after. Women's championship will be first. Men's championship will follow, and then the selections announcement after that.
The other thing about putting the short pattern out, we actually bowled on the longest pattern today, and anytime you put out that longest pattern, it seems like there's a little bit of memory, and so that gutter may be exceptionally tight comparative to when it was on the 3rd day we bowled in qualifying. Liz with a perfect strike there, taking that 15-pin advantage and a chance to extend her lead to 25. Coming up here in frame 5. Both guys throwing urethane balls.
Yeah, I was going to note that both of them are throwing urethane. And let's see, we haven't had a strike yet in the men's match. We've had a lot of 8 counts. Let's see what Kamron does here in the 4th frame.
Kamron has been pretty well lined up on this lane. Small adjustment. It's tricky sometimes when you put your surface on urethane, and he did it before his last shot in practice, that they tend to hook a lot more for a bad shot, and then not so much after that.
It's hard to believe that Kamron Doyle is only 16 years old, isn't it?
Yes, yes. It seems like he's been bowling pro tournaments in the national.
And it's no surprise.
For like 5 or 6 years. I don't know. It's
we all knew it was only a matter of time before he got on Team USA, and he's going to be there now. And AJ Chapman, of course, is a very good up-and-coming young player.
Yeah, I've been hearing his name now for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's really one of the first times I had a chance to really watch him play much. And lines that are very straight, he hits his target a lot. He's got a super quick hand, and so kind of all the recipe for success there. Liz making a tough spare, keeps her 15-pin lead. AJ making his best shot of the game so far. A little bucket crumbler for the 10-pin.
Yeah, and Kamron Doyle leads by 11 after 4 frames in a pretty ugly match so far. And now
Ball
Shannon,
changed by Shannon,
yeah, leaves the washout. Not looking too great for her either right now.
No, they say 5 minutes of practice is not very much time when it's really will not play much like the pattern you bowled on earlier in the week. So everybody moving on the fly. It's tough to get comfortable. Plus, what's on the line is a national championship. So, and that's a switch away from urethane. Like
For AJ,
Marvelous
yeah.
there, and
Nice conversion there. Picks up the washout. Pluhowsky still down 15, so she limits the damage there in the 5th
yeah,
frame.
really no harm done, and she learned a little bit about what's going on. That's the best case scenario for her there. The spare no bargain.
Covers it up though. AJ trailing by 13. So we are in the 5th frame of our semifinal. The winner of the men's match to take on Marshall Kent. The winner of the women's semifinal to bowl Danielle McEwan immediately following here live on Bull TV. Pluhowsky looking to deliver a better shot, and she does.
Went back to the same ball she's using earlier in the game. I'm not sure exactly what it is.
So now Kamron has a chance for the first double in our men's semifinal here.
Hypercell is what Shannon's throwing. This lane's gone high the last 2 times. Pretty good sized move there. That's something most 16-year-olds are not so good at. That's a little 3-board move with his feet, 2 with his eyes. Kept it inside the gutter on that lane. Kept his break point around 5-6 instead of around the traditional 2-3.
Well, most 16-year-olds don't have 2 lanes in their basement with a Kegel machine either.
True, but
he definitely practices nonstop.
LeBron had 2 lanes in his basement too, and he couldn't average 140. So, but great shot by Liz there on the right lane. Perfect strike.
Yeah, she's still up 15 with 4 frames to go. And,
Yeah.
that match still could go either way.
Yep, through 6 frames there, both players. And chance to extend her lead to 25 once again.
Doyle can build his lead even further if he strikes here in the 6th.
With a 23-pin lead, chance to move to 33. Good there.
Oh, 6-pin caught the bottom of the 10, knocked it out for the 3-bagger, and Doyle extends the lead.
There are times when there are no substitute for rev rate.
He has no shortage of that. Here's Liz Johnson looking for a double. Comes up light, gets it done, pushes her lead to 25. Good crowd here tonight at the Orleans in Las Vegas. A lot of the competitors this week sticking around. Really standing room only. There's not a seat to be had behind us. It's pretty packed in here as everybody's watching.
Got a lot of respect by the fellow competitors, and also the selections are coming up afterwards.
Absolutely. Here's AJ. Has not put a strike on the board just yet, and now he does.
Another ball change there. That one did the right thing. Down 33 now. A chance to stop the bleeding. He's really in a spot already where he really needs to throw a double here, or this could, may have no chance at all. Pluhowsky answers back with a double and cuts the lead back to 15. Now she can cut that lead to 5.
Yeah, so the women's match is much closer at this point than the men's match, but AJ trying to get back in it here, trying to put a double on the board. Looks pretty good.
Shot there, yeah. This match isn't over now. He just finally got something to look right. He's going to throw some good shots down the stretch like he's done all week.
Pluhowsky, another strike for her. That's 3 in a row.
And I think that was probably her best shot of the match. That
right
came
back
off her
in it.
hand. Really, really good. And and made it back from a spot that was coming up light earlier when she didn't throw it quite as well. On the men's side, I think this is probably the most important shot of the match. If Kamron can throw a strike here and answer right back, keep his big lead, and leaves himself some mistake room down the stretch. But no matter how much you can bowl by yourself in your own basement, these are high-stress situations.
Doyle working on 3 in a row, doesn't like it, crosses over and gets the strike. What a lucky break right there. He'll take it, but he doesn't like it. Doesn't really matter if he likes it or not.
No,
it still counts.
One thing about when you get a little older, you learn not to worry about those breaks so much and just take them and try and capitalize on them because there are enough come the other way.
Well, Liz is and Shannon have turned this thing into a strike fest all of a sudden.
Absolutely. Well, you got a couple of girls who are some of the best shot makers. He's one of the best shot makers in the world.
And Liz up 15, 2 frames to go. Both players working on 3 strikes in a row. Kamron Doyle working on a 4-bagger, leading by 33. 8th frame. Ooh, Messenger goes in front of the 10.
Like I said, everything kind of evens out sometimes. He's pocket 7-10 earlier on a good shot. He scouted in front of the 10. In the big scheme of things, the Brooklyn he might still be down a break.
Yeah.
In the overall scheme of things. So
Liz pulled that one. Baby split. Yeah, you could tell right off her hand that was big trouble.
So that's in the 9th frame there. Liz, if she makes the spare, we'll have
227
possibility. Shannon now can strike out for 234. Shannon Pluhowsky has her destiny in her own hands right now. And so,
yeah, if Liz makes this, Shannon steps up and strikes 9th, first 2 in a 10th, she'll win. So we'll have to see what Liz does. This is an important baby split attempt here for Liz Johnson. And as you would expect, she's pretty good with that kind of stuff.
I don't know if I ever expect to make the 310.
I expect Liz to. I don't know about you.
Well, I like her chances better than mine, I think, at that one.
That definitely keeps her right in it, though.
It does.
And this is a big shot for AJ to try to make up some ground here in the 8th frame. Great ball change that he made to get there.
Still has a 224 left. Kamron on 216 pace. So Shannon now still behind.
Big shot here for Pluhowsky. Gets another one. 4 in a row for Pluhowsky.
That closes it down to a 3-pin match.
She's just a couple of strikes and some counter away from advancing.
Double and 4 will win this first semifinal match for her. AJ Chapman, on the other hand, still must strike on this ball.
Trying to keep his hopes alive, and he does. That is 4 in a row for AJ Chapman.
Yep.
And you're getting a taste of the future of bowling here right now in our semifinal.
Might not be the last 10. You see these two duke it out. All right, here we go.
It's a double and
Take
4.
the lead.
Oh my! You don't see Shannon Pluhowsky slap him out too much, but she took
much emotion out of her ever. She tries to keep it as low key as possible, and that was a huge bird dog. Great timing for her. Takes the lead now by 7 pins. Now Kamron Doyle stepping up.
He can shut out AJ Chapman, and that's not a good shot. Gets the lucky break again on that right lane. Good news for Kamron, he doesn't have to bowl again on that right lane.
I don't think he's disappointed about the fact he has no more shots left there. Because your next move from there is moving 4. Kind of blind 4-board move with you got your thing in your hand and you don't think it's going to hook a lot down lane anyway. It's not the most comfortable one to have to make.
All right, here's Pluhowsky. 2 close matches here in our semifinals. Finals coming up next. Shannon needs a strike here and count. She'll advance. Pulls it and strikes. And Pluhowsky,
try to target, but
6 in a row.
That's going to be a winner. She only needs 4 pins now on the final. Kamron Doyle now needs this strike and 9 spare.
Yep, to shut out by a pin.
To shut out AJ. Good shot there.
Runs it out,
That
gets
is a
the
good
big
shot.
strike. What a shot from Kamron Doyle. The 16-year-old sensation stepping up in the 10th frame. Pluhowsky needs just 4 pins and count here. That's going to be enough. And what a finish for Shannon.
Fantastic
striking
finish.
out 234.
Shannon wins the semifinal. Liz does get the USOC insurance, though, as being in the top 2 qualifiers. Now the situation is this. AJ Chapman can still shoot 224. Kamron Doyle needs 9 spare here to shoot 225.
So let's see if Kamron can get the shutout here. 9 on this ball and a spare, and he'll get the shutout. That's a strike, and Kamron Doyle is going to advance the bowl for the title against Marshall Kent.
Hard to throw it any better than that shot right there. That was an excellent pitch. A couple of fortunate breaks on that right lane, but a couple of unfortunate breaks on the left lane with the 7-10 and the Scout 10. This really came down to the first 3. Kamron had 3 shots at the beginning that weren't great, and AJ had basically 5 frames where he wasn't lined up, and he just got there a little bit too late.
236 for Doyle. Liz Johnson's going to finish up with 214. So Shannon Pluhowsky wins 234 to 214, and AJ's going to come here and finish up his game, but he's going to come up just short. He made the nice ball change, but just a little too late, unfortunately, for AJ. And Kamron Doyle can move on.
Big time game there AJ has, and this right lane is pretty tricky. I got to say, it's when we bowled in earlier in the week, actually it was the left lane that hooked more, but obviously here it's the right lane that's got a little hang on the gutter, I think, and then just makes the left appear like it hooks all that much more.
Well, our women's championship match is coming up next. They're going to have 5 minutes of practice, and then we'll get started right away as AJ
You guys about ready to watch the women's final? Alright, Danielle McEwan is going to start the match. And she has selected Tokyo pattern, 43 feet. Danielle is a two-time Team Trials champion. She's looking for a third win. She's won in 2012 and 2013. Trying to win again here in 2015. Shannon, as I mentioned before, this is her 15th consecutive appearance on Team USA. I think Clinton was still president when the first time she made it. All right, ladies, we're ready. Good luck.
All right, ready to get started with our women's championship match here at the USBC Team USA Trials. Danielle McEwan, our top seed. Going to take on Shannon Pluhowsky for the title, and here we go. Not a great start here for Danielle.
Oh.
Got lucky, got the 2 out, didn't she, Chris?
Yeah, not all bad, not all bad. They picked the 39-foot Tokyo pattern, which was the pattern bull on the second day, and Danielle was the leader on that day as well. So, not terribly surprised that she picked. I figured she would pick either the 43-foot pattern that she led on day 1, or the 41-footer that she led on day 2. So. She didn't go light too many times in practice either. It looked like she had pretty good reaction. Shannon will definitely have her hands full here.
Yeah, this is a one-game match. The winner not only takes the title, but also will go bowl in the World Cup. And get a little bit of prize money.
And Shannon is not able to roll out the corner pin and leaves the 3-7, where Danielle was able to knock out the 10 pin and not leave the 2-10. So much tougher spare here. Not the start she wanted either. Looking back through my notes over the last few days to see what this pair looked like. And just missed. Actually, as the crosses work, this is one of the pairs I didn't bowl on. So. Well, that's not true. I bowled my very last game today on it. So. And it's one of the few pairs where the right lane actually hooks a little bit more than the left lane.
Well, it's just one frame in, and Danielle has a very early 12-pin lead. As we take a look at the second frame for Shannon Pluhowsky, and
well done.
Much better. So we'll just settle in here and enjoy the show. Hopefully Danielle and Shannon will put on a nice match for us here. The men's championship match between Marshall Kent and Kamron Doyle will be coming up next. If you're just tuning in, this is Bowl TV. I'm Lucas Wiseman along with Chris Barnes as we watch our women's championship match here from the Orleans in Las Vegas.
Nice shot once again. Danielle going for her, I believe, third
Yes,
title.
she won in 2012 and 2013. And went on to bowl the World Cup both years and finished fourth both years at the World Cup.
Just out of the stepladder.
Yep. She bowled in, I believe in Wrocław the first time it was there, and then she went to following year to Siberia.
Look at the
messenger.
A little better there. Wow. Heavy roll.
Yeah, gets the strike to carry there, and that's a double for Danielle McEwan, and she is now ahead by 22 pins. And it's very early in this match. Shannon Pluhowsky already kind of with her back against the wall here early on, working on a strike, looking to turn it into a double and narrow the deficit back to 12. Oh, almost a 6-8. Leaves just the 6, though.
She's got a little difference between the two lanes. I believe she's throwing a sinister.
So 3 frames in, and it is, let's see here, 22 pin lead for Danielle McEwan.
That is correct, sir.
Once again, the winner going to win this tournament and go to the World Cup, and both of them are past champions. Shannon Pluhowsky at one point won this tournament 3 years in a row. So here's Pluhowsky, 4th frame, doesn't really like that one at all.
That wasn't her best effort there.
She leaves the 2-4 here in the 4th. Loses a couple of pins in count there on the spare.
The ship's going to have to get righted as really Danielle is. I'm not sure where her weakness has been on these patterns, really. Not really any of them. She got to a bad start the one day on the short, I believe, and she rallied back and fought back into almost a top 10 by the time the day was over. Actually, I was 18th, but
she had 3 first place
leaders,
finishes.
18th, 5th, and 1st. So she wasn't picking the short pattern.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not sure which one you want any part of her on.
I mean, when you win 3 out of 5 rounds in this format, that's pretty dominating. I don't know that anybody's won 3 rounds since we started doing this. Last year, Kelly won 2 rounds.
2 rounds and didn't make the stepladder.
It didn't. She went first, 66th first in the first 3 rounds, and but Danielle really has dominated. She bowled 300 earlier today, the only woman to bowl 300 in this tournament.
Interestingly, though, Shannon also struggled on the short. She was 25th that day. She was 4th on this same pattern, so it not a huge advantage either way.
I'm going to guess that
in the last 2 rounds, actually, Shannon had less points than Danielle.
She was first and second,
and Danielle was 5th and 1st. So
I'm going to guess that Danielle picked the pattern based on what she was most comfortable with versus.
Yeah, I would think
my guess
one of those 2 patterns that they started on, and this one's a little bit shorter than the day one, the 43-foot pattern, and lets her be just a little bit more aggressive, I would think. So with that spare, taking a 21-pin lead, both players up with a spare in the 4th frame. Danielle been light a couple of times.
All right, 5th frame now getting started. Danielle McEwan up by 21. It looked like a good shot. Come up a little light.
Yeah, having a hard time getting it up the hill on this left lane, but she's still getting it up the hill enough. Really good leverage. Really rolling it off her hand, getting it just enough to tickle the head pin. If she falls off that shot a little bit, gets a little steep, a little forward with her shoulders where her swing weight gets steep, that ball goes flying by, and it's a bucket, a 210, a washout. It could be anything from there.
All right, so Pluhowsky, 5th frame. It's about the time of the last match she kind of got things going and striking. Maybe she'll get comfortable and start putting some strikes together here.
Well,
you never know. Shannon's
as athletic a player Shannon is. If she gets a little feel going, it steamrolls pretty quickly. Sometimes it's hard to tell when she's feeling good because she's not a player that that gives you much emotion.
Right,
outwardly.
exactly.
She did switch to the same ball she used the first match, though, the Hypercell now. And a little lower RG, should get started a little quicker. Won't be quite as much angle in the back, but I think right now that's what she needs, is something that, wow, something that makes it feel like she can get it to pick up. Quick double there, and that cuts it back down to an 11-pin match. And after those first 4 frames, we saw a little bit of everything out of Shannon. That changes the complexity. It can really change your opponent's mindset too sometimes. Now they think, uh-oh, she's lined up, here she comes.
Especially if Danielle saw what happened in the last match where Shannon came from behind to take out Liz Johnson. It's
certainly one of the strategies to not watching your opponent, is you can't make up any kind of superhero antics that your opponent might be ready to put on. Boy, and that was a great answer back. That was a pure shot, high flush, 10 straight back. Going through a pre-shot routine once again.
So both players with doubles on the board right now, as you can see on the scoreboard on the top of your screen.
21-pin lead. Chance to take it to 31.
Danielle so far this game, spare double, spare double.
This will be the key lane for her.
Nice shot, gets her 3rd consecutive strike and extends the lead to 31.
Tighter of the 2 lanes, and that one was perfect. Only has 1 more shot there. In the other lane, she doesn't seem to have too much trouble with. Doesn't spell very good news for Shannon. She'll have to answer right back now.
Big shot here for Pluhowsky. Working on a double, and she keeps it going as well.
Almost a stone 10. High flush 10. Max possible scores, 267 for Danielle, 246 for Shannon, which basically means you're 1 miss apart. And that's, you know, as a player, that's what you want. You keep it to where if your opponent makes 1 error, if it's just as much as a tap, she still has a chance to tie the match. And if it's anything worse than that, she can win.
So Pluhowsky trying to cut it to 11 here with a strike. Oh, something took out the 10 that time as well.
Student body right that time. Had the head pin over there, threw the 5-pin over there, and a bunch of others. Spun them down, and that turns it back to an 11-pin match.
Yeah, this has turned into a strike fest, kind of like Shannon's got it going like she did last match. It's just a matter of whether Danielle can keep the lead, keep striking.
Well, as usual, Team USA women will not lack for talent or shot making or anything else. No matter what 3 women or what other women join these 3.
10-pin leave for McEwan, and I think that with the reemergence of the Professional Women's Bowling Association Tour coming up this summer, I have a feeling that Danielle McEwan is a name that we're going to be saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, most of this group is not professional technically, but certainly played at that level for a long time. Over the last 3 years, and her making the U.S. Open show the previous year, it's more than proven herself as a world-class player. That's the mistake. No, that wasn't really a mistake. It was just a tad light and a half 10, and that opens the door and puts both players at a max score of 246. Danielle up now on the tighter lane, the left lane, 9th frame.
A very, very close championship match here.
Still a 10-pin lead for the moment, at least.
Only 2 frames to go. Danielle McEwan, 9th frame. Comes up light, and is anything going to get the 2? Nope, it does not. So
no.
Now her max drops down to 235, which means Pluhowsky's going to have a chance to step up 9th and 10th and win this thing, just like last time.
She's got destiny in her own hands. Really wasn't that bad a shot, but that lane is tighter. I think it would have made it back on 22. 21, it just pushes a little bit long. If it doesn't get started early, it just doesn't make it up the hill. 2-pin leave here, still on 225. Count still very important there, as if Shannon were to get 9 spare somewhere, that would put her max score at exactly the same. So
it's all in Shannon Pluhowsky's hands here. Danielle McEwan's max is 235, and Shannon Pluhowsky is going to need the next 3 strikes to get past that. If she goes strike here in the 9th, she will set herself up for the 10th frame. Let's see what she does. Gets it.
Wow. Really good shot and a really good ball change. Back there in the 5th frame, she switched to this ball, and it's been nothing but strikes since. That gives her the 1-pin lead, again for the moment.
So if she goes strike 9 spare, we have the possibility of a tie.
We have the possibility of a tie.
If she doubles, then she's going to win and be our Team USA Trials champion for 2015 and go to the World Cup.
There are a lot of chances for tries here. There's for a tie here. If even 9 spare strike would be.
Pluhowsky.
Got to go.
Oh, gets it, Gary. Another strike for Shannon Pluhowsky, and she's 1 strike away from the title.
9 spare here guarantees she can't do anything worse than a tie. At that point, we'll have to defer to our tournament director as to what the tiebreaker is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is.
And
well, actually, we did have that situation in the semifinal last year between Fagan and Zerminski.
And it was a one ball.
One ball, sudden death.
You're right. It went a few shots, right? And then.
Well, Shannon needs one here, and she will be the champion. For the win, Shannon Pluhowsky. Oh, she's got it. The 10 falls a little bit late, but Shannon Pluhowsky is going to win the Team USA Trials. And she's headed to the World Cup to represent her country once again. She's been to the World Cup several times in the past, and she's going to be heading there again.
Some great shot making down the stretch. I know she acts like she missed, but I'm telling you, none of those shots are very far off line. Half
Final
in,
shot.
half out at the arrows.
And what a finish for Pluhowsky as she strikes from the 5th frame on to win the title here at the Orleans. And she's full of emotion.
And obviously jubilant, Shannon Pluhowsky.
As you would expect from Shannon. She's all business all the time. Congratulations to Shannon Pluhowsky. She's going to go down to Jim Callahan, give him a big hug, and start to celebrate a little bit.
Yeah, I really feel bad for Danielle, someone who's dominated this tournament all week long and really been basically untouchable. There's
246.
laps the field, and this is the unfair part about having a stepladder at the end of a week-long qualifier, is that one game is now decided. It's trumped more than 30 games of dominance.
And you can see Shannon getting a little love from her daughter down there as Danielle finishes it up here. 246 for Shannon Pluhowsky, and Danielle McEwan finishes with 222. Well, pretty exciting women's final. The men's final coming up next, but congratulations to Shannon Pluhowsky as she is the Team USA Trials champion for 2015. Our men's championship match coming up next. Marshall Kent and Kamron Doyle. And her dad runs over and tells us that's Shannon's 5th championship here at the Team USA Trials.
How about a big round of applause for Danielle?
All right, so our men's match coming up in just a minute. We're going to step away for a second, get it set up, and we'll have Kamron Doyle versus Marshall Kent in just a minute. We'll be right back.
This tournament, she led 3 of the 5 days. Started off today with a 300 game to solidify her lead. and great week for her. But Shannon Pluhowsky, 2015 USA Women's Trials Champion. So, how does it feel to be champion?
It's always fun to win. It's been a long week. Danielle was great. Stepladder isn't always, the best thing ever. But for me, it was good.
For you, it was good. I know you have kind of this calm, cool demeanor out there, but I saw you in the semifinal slap one off, so I can tell you really wanted it.
I did, definitely. I don't feel much, and we don't usually get the messenger much, so that one was a big one.
So, how does this rank among your 15 consecutive Team USA appearances?
Started 2015 off great. Looking forward to more bowling this year and representing Team USA at hopefully some tournaments.
All right, well, congratulations, Shannon. Great bowling this week. We'll see you hopefully next year for 16, right? All right, the men's finals coming up. 15 and 16, Marshall Kent versus Kamron Doyle. Marshall Kent is currently the record holder for youngest bowler ever to win this tournament. But if Kamron Doyle can win this match, he will take that record. We'll get to see the finals after about 10 minutes of practice. All right, we got more prizes. Is Becca Pitzer in the building? She's not here.
She might be here.
She might be? All right, we'll give her one more chance. Becca Pitzer, are you here?
Her mom's not here. I don't Becca? I go to school with her.
No? Official rules person?
Rules, she is disqualified.
That's why you have rules enforcement people. Austin Thompson. Oh, Austin's on his way down. Okay. There you are, Austin. How about Jessica Quevedo? Not here. Melanie Crawford. Sean Halverson.
How far over?
I see someone pointing here. Oh, there he is.
You just can't rush around.
Samantha Kelly.
Huh? Yeah, I'll get
Samantha Kelly. No? No? Stephanie Laidley. There she is, Stephanie Laidley. Alicia Current.
You want me to get even more behind or no?
Good.
That was Aaron Levitt. I'm just kidding.
Mexico City? Right?
Yeah.
She just got one. Danielle Kimmer. stranger.
We
Oh,
had
Team USA.
four selections, and all four were different. So 4 of the 5 patterns got re-chosen.
There you are. Okay. Chrissy Johnson. Robert Altieri. Is Robert Altieri here? I like how everybody says no. Connor Muldery. Connor Muldery. There he is. All right, we got one more. I get to pick this one. Holden Luke. I hear some screaming. Would that be Holden Luke's posse screaming? No. Next. No Holden Luke? All right, you're all still alive. Kyle Troop. Kyle, you here? Is Kyle Troop in the building?
Just call his name. Make him feel good.
All right, we're going to do one more after this match.
He's saying it.
We're going to do it. Don't worry. You guys ready? All right. Team USA Trials Championship, Marshall Kent versus Kamron Doyle. Good luck, gentlemen.
All right, ready to get started with our men's championship match here at the Team USA Trials. It's Kamron Doyle starting things off, bowling against Marshall Kent. And Kamron starts with a big strike.
Marshall, being our tournament leader, got to pick the pattern. He picked the 45-foot Mexico City pattern. It's the same pattern we actually bowled on today. Marshall led on that pattern today. And actually he bowled with Kamron because they were both in the top 3. With his success. Ooh. 45 feet, what often happens here is your break point has to be a little bit further, a little closer to the head pin. So it's going to be in around 9, 10 or so, because these are higher rev rate players. If you're a lower rev rate player, it would have to be around 11, 12. See that dark tracer the furthest one down there on the right. That's right on the 10th board. These guys will be getting it right around that tracer as they bring it up in. They're a little less rev rate, they would be just inside that tracer. Anything that gets right of that's going to be in trouble, though.
Do appreciate you tuning in this evening, watching the championship match in the men's division here at the Team USA Trials. Marshall Kent taking on Kamron Doyle. I'm Lucas Wiseman along with Chris Barnes. This is our final match of the tournament. It's been a great Team USA Trials this year. A lot of 300s, a lot of excitement, a lot of great bowling, a lot of young bowlers.
Really, really good field.
Probably the best field we've had in the Team USA Trials in a very long time, I would say.
Top
Maybe
to bottom, as many pros that have bowled, and the youth field just keeps getting better every year. And some of them have aged out from the junior team and have continued to bowl in hopes of qualifying for the men's team. Just talent everywhere. 175 men bowled this week. And these are our top two, and they were the top two throughout. Kamron was the leader from pretty much day one and held that lead all the way through. Marshall worked his way back up into that lead as the week continued. Both players on this 45-foot Mexico City pattern using very similar ball choices. Not the same ball, but Kamron with an Asylum, and if a medium low RG, medium differential ball. And Marshall Kent is doing exactly the same thing with a Disturbed. Players using a little more speed, even though the length is down there. Kamron off a little slower and a little further left than Marshall, but both with excellent shots on this right lane and both leaving green 10s.
Well, as an example of how young the field is at this tournament, earlier today, Sean Rash's group that he was bowling with, Sean's not an old guy. He's 32. He was the oldest on his pair by 7 years. And I'm sure that you had some similar situations.
Well, my pair, I think, was even younger than his.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you could have added up any two of the players on my pair and not got to me. So I had Matt Farber, which, if you were watching practice, was down there consulting with Kamron Doyle and part of what I would call the bowling's rat pack. Him, Greg Young, Kamron Doyle, Matt Farber, and you might even throw in Wesley Lowe into that group. And those four are a bright teenage group right there. That's the future of bowling. None of them in college yet, and good grief, they can all, man, they can play.
Future for Team USA is pretty bright, especially when it comes to these young stars like Kamron Doyle, Marshall Kent. Here is Kamron in the third frame. Gets the hit to carry. Kamron up by a pin.
Ball getting a little deep into the pattern there, but recovers enough in the back to shake him down. Really the difference in the match so far is a 1-pin lead.
Marshall taking his time here. Remember, the winner goes to the World Cup. They're going to go along with our women's champion, Shannon Pluhowsky. As Marshall Kent steps up here in the third frame. Good looking shot right there. That's pretty solid.
Well, the one in the first frame looked like a no doubt or two, and then the 6 wrapped right around the top of the 10. But that one got them all down. That was just perfect. Split the 8-9.
Yeah, good looking shot out of Marshall Kent right there. And after 3 frames, Kamron Doyle, who is on the right side of the scoreboard you're looking at, leads by 1 pin. And I think it's fitting that the USBC's new motto is or slogan is a future for the sport. USBC is a future for the sport, and we've got the future of the sport right here on the featured pairs bowling for the title here this week. Because we're going to be seeing these young guys a lot in the future, probably on the PBA Tour and taking money out of your pocket, Chris Barnes, I'm sure. As Marshall leaves the big split, doesn't leave any count there.
Those
or lose any count, but
those pockets are sewed shut.
yeah, believe me, I know.
Yeah.
Doesn't lose any count on the split because it comes on a strike. And it's not the hardest split in the world to make, but it's not the easiest either.
Well, on 45 feet, the thing is, though, once you get outside of around 8, the ball really doesn't pick up at all. So it's very difficult to get it right at the 3-pin without missing the 3-pin entirely.
Well, Marshall's going to try to get it to the right of the 3 and slide that 3-pin over into the 4 and the 7. See what he does here.
Yeah, picked up on the way.
Oh, well, look at this. Pin dropped out of the back and almost took it from behind. As that 4-pin stays up. So an open frame from Marshall Kent.
Ironically, this pair and 17-18, although not as much, 15 and 16 is actually probably the earliest hooking pair in this building. I've been given some Jim Callahan, the store rep. I've got some inside information on this, but there's actually a restaurant underneath this particular pair, and this is where the pizza oven is.
Interesting.
So,
well, this is a big shot for Kamron.
This is a chance, an opportunity to take a 30-plus pin lead.
Working on a strike, and he gets another one.
I got to cross within a few pairs of Kamron pretty much on the same pair the first day, and so I was within 2 or 3 pairs the whole time of the first game, and was consistently surprised at how deep he could play in game 1 and still create some hold. They weren't the easiest as you went left to right in the first game, but his shot making's gotten so good and his touch has gotten good enough that he can get away with creating some more angle through the front that most players are able to do.
All right, Doyle stepping up, working on a double. Looking to extend the lead a little bit more here. Needs it to a hook, and he's lucky that 10 went out, leaves the 2-4. And a spare here, he's up by 21.
Yeah, it looked like he got just a little bit forward with his shoulders there. When you do that, your swing gets a little steep, and instead of the ball getting projected out onto the lane, it gets projected into the lane. It does that, it sucks a little bit of the rev rate out of it and causes your ball not to hook as much down lane.
So now Doyle looking to clean it up here. And he does. Spare is good for Kamron Doyle. And now the ball is in Marshall Kent's court here as he down 21 pins in the 5th frame, looking to start something, start a string going here or something in the next couple of shots. You don't want to get down too much too early here.
No, the key will be that left lane, and Marshall chose to finish on the left lane. Gets back over there. We'll see if that was just an errant shot, which I have a feeling it was, or whether something's happened in the end of practice that they got him crossed up a little.
Looked like a good shot right there. A very powerful strike from Marshall Kent.
Yeah, very aggressive. And that's more the traditional angle you would see on this longer pattern on the fresh, is not giving away the pocket so much, rolling it up into that little slot between the targeting area, the targeting splices down lane, where it's right at 15 there at 37 feet, and then either on or just inside of it on board 10 there at 42 feet. Three really excellent shots on that lane. This is going to be the key. He really needs to figure out this left lane and make a good shot.
Chance to cut into the lead, cut it down to 11 with a strike here, Marshall Kent. working on a strike. Oh, look at it. Caught a piece of the 10, didn't go. Could have been a 7-10. Pin came over and got a little piece of that 10, but it wasn't strong enough to take it out.
And that's the thing about this pair, is it's not the most hooking pair down lane, it's the most hooking pair in the front. And so it hooks on the front and then pushes down. And on a 45-foot pattern, which it already plays much like that, it makes it play even more.
So Marshall misses the opportunity there to cut into the lead. So Kamron still leads by 21.
Stepping up here in the 6th frame, big frames for Kamron Doyle as well. If he can put a double on him here, expand that lead past a 1 miss opportunity, get past that 21 pin kind of threshold, gives him a little breathing room.
All right, so Kamron Doyle, 6th frame coming up as we are winding down here in the back half now of our men's championship match. Doyle up by 21, working on a spare, gets the strike. Trying to settle himself down a little bit here, I think.
Well, I'm saying slow down.
Yeah.
If he gets firm at all on this length of pattern, it's not going to hook back, and that's he's got to get his feet. Somebody whose feet, both these players, obviously, your ball speed's created by foot speed. High rep players that bowl on friction very often. They have quick feet. One of the most difficult things for them both to do is to get slow. The more you get excited, the harder it is to gear that speed back down. You see Kamron taking a little extra time now to gather himself, get his heart rate down, get everything slowed back down to the right pace for him to make a good shot here.
Chance to extend the lead. Oh, what a shot from Doyle.
Almost a 7-9.
Yes.
2-pin taking out the 7 and the 9 on the way back across, I believe.
And he pushes the lead up to 31.
Big
Marshall,
shots right there. Now he has a basically a tap margin where he can afford a 10-pin, a 7-pin. You know, even what I would say is a good bad shot, where a 4-pin kind of thing. That's actually the head pin that gets back across and knocks out both of those.
And Marshall better get it going here, or he's going to be in a world of hurt. He's struck the last couple of times on this lane.
Yeah, he's throwing a 4th, really virtually perfect shot on this right lane, and here we go. This is going to be the moment of truth for him, and I've been in this situation a few times. In your 5 minutes of practice, you think, well, that lane hooks more. I'd rather have it hook more. I'll pick that lane to start on, and then something happens in the middle of the match to make you go, why on earth would I pick that lane to finish on? That read right there could be as much just from that 10-pin last time. And if anything, this is the moment of truth. I would expect him to take his time here a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, he knows that this is
the pace of the match. This is the
pretty
shot of the match.
Pretty big shot right here.
Down 31 already. If he doesn't strike here, it just leaves him virtually no room to catch up. Max score still 227 though. Kamron Doyle on 218 as a pace.
So this is a big shot right here in this match for Marshall Kent, looking for the double. Oh boy.
Well, it was not his best shot, but it was a move where he was a little firmer and has been a little firmer on his right lane. He moved a little further left, got a little softer to get around it. Missed inside, but the move gave him enough angle to give him a little hold there. Not sure too many people were more surprised than he was that didn't go through the nose. So,
well, it was a big shot.
It was a huge shot. He needed to have it. That keeps him right in the middle of this match and keeps the pressure on to where Kamron must keep making good shots to stay ahead.
Well, can 16-year-old Kamron Doyle handle the pressure here down the stretch? He certainly has been in positions like this in the past. He's bowled the World Youth Championships before. He's bowled the PABCON Championships for Junior Team USA. He knows what it takes to win. And gets the 7 to fall backwards for the strike.
Speed was better there. That one got a little right of target, but he kept his speed good enough that it had a chance to make it back. That Asylum's worked for him on basically every pattern on the Fresh except for the short. I think he started with that one every day.
And Kamron is now leading by 31 pins again.
Back up.
2 frames left.
Max score 258.
If he strikes here in the 9th, he's going to be in pretty good shape going into that 10th frame.
It still won't be over, though.
Won't be over, but he'll be in good shape.
Marshall can still strike out, force him to mark, and sometimes the toughest one to get is guys throw better shots sometimes having to strike than they do having to mark sometimes.
And we actually saw that at the end of qualifying. Kamron left a big split in the 10th frame that actually kind of cost him the top seed. He didn't know it at the time.
He didn't. It was difficult to tell. He didn't have any idea, actually. Uh-oh.
Pulls that one.
A huge,
3-6-10,
that's
gets
a
7.
huge count deal right there now. So must make the spare. If he makes the spare, he'll have a max score of 235 going to 10th. If he misses the spare, Marshall can step up, strike out, and win.
Looks like we're going to come down to the wire here. It's going to be a pretty close finish. Kamron Doyle, Marshall Kent bowling for the 2015 USBC Team USA Trials men's title. And Kamron cleans up the mess. And now Marshall Kent
16,
will
you
step
don't
up.
know that's supposed to be a hard spare, I don't think. So the situation is this. Marshall can strike out for 227. Kamron Doyle goes strike spare in the 10th for 225. Marshall is still in a position where he must strike on at least the next 2 balls to have any chance.
So it looks like he's going to take plenty of time on this shot.
It's going to be a solid 5 minutes before Kamron gets to throw his next shot, I believe.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Marshall's not a quick player to begin with, and it's important. It's very important, and so he's going to collect himself. It may not be a strategic play as much as just to get himself in the right frame of mind and right place.
Marshall Kent trying to stay in it here.
Excellent.
He's been great on that lane.
So good right there. When he gets it going, he is really fun to watch. The lines are straight, perfect balance of foul line. He's got his swing back tucked in right next to his ankle. Ball feeds to the spot with all that rev rate, and none of it hooks early. It's all saved for the mid lane and the back end.
So that's going to give Marshall a chance here. He can strike out for 227, and that would force Kamron Doyle to double in the 10th.
Just on 2-0 pace right now. So at this point, he still must have this strike to have any chance at all.
Yeah, if he doesn't
this strike
here
will force Kamron to mark in the 10th.
So this is a big one right here. Marshall Kent, 10th frame. Final frame of the tournament. Marshall Kent! Oh! The 7 stays up on what was a pretty good shot.
Yeah, that was a much better shot than the one in the 8th that he got in, and it kind of froze, but there may be a reason why it stayed there. He may have been too big a move. That was an excellent shot and came up just a little bit light. Maybe just a half board with his feet back to the right would have been enough, but wow, that was crisp right there.
So now the situation is this. Kamron Doyle needs to stay behind the foul line pretty much.
At
Needs
206,
few pins.
Cameron's got 195 plus his next shot. He needs basically 6 pins on his first ball to be
the youngest champion in tournament history.
Sheesh. He's been bowling with us so long, I don't even think about him 16. Plus, he's taller than I am. But,
well, Marshall Kent finishes with 206.
that's a game and a score. That's a score does not reflect the game that he just bowled right there. He had the 1 error there in the 4th frame. Everything else is just excellent shot making. 4 taps. I suppose you could say the one that he got in was a break, but really even that was high flush, so it got to the right spot at the end. So
So it's come down to this moment for Kamron Doyle. He just needs six spins on this shot to secure the title. Kamron Doyle. And Kamron Doyle is the youngest winner in the history of the Team USA Trials. The 16-year-old comes up and wins and takes down the pros. He takes down the top college bowlers, and Kamron Doyle picks up the title. A pretty impressive feat for a 16-year-old, regardless. It's pretty impressive, the skill level he is at this age. He's reaching the top of his game right now, and he is going to win the Team USA Trials here.
The scary part is he might not be at the top of his game yet.
Another strike, and Kamron, I'm going to guess he can't believe it. He's probably in shock right now that he's actually accomplished this. But to be honest, there aren't a lot of people who are surprised by this.
Well, he's been around a lot, but actually in these finals it hasn't gone all that well for him. And like I said, I think everything evens out, and today was the day when he got back a few of those lucky breaks, a few, he made some excellent shots. He was able to knock down, it wasn't so much his good breaks as it was Marshall's bad ones. Two great competitors, both bowled great games, and Kamron Doyle, now he's broke through. I have a feeling that momentum will carry on. We'll see more and more titles moving forward.
And Kamron Doyle, there's his dad, Sean, with the big hug. And all the hard work has paid off here for Kamron Doyle as he takes home the win. And Dad's pretty excited. Kamron's pretty excited.
It's hard to say all the work for somebody that's 16, but really if you go to the 10,000 hour rule, he's actually put in his 10,000 hours already, which is kind of crazy.
Well, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be announcing all of the members of Team USA for 2015, as well as junior Team USA members. So, Chris, thanks for sitting in. Kamron Doyle, 16 years old. You got to feel pretty old right now, huh?
Well, the only option to getting older is to not, and I choose to get older. So, yeah, I got to say I did like it a little better being out there on the lanes last year versus sitting next to you, and that pretty much goes it for any time.
I completely understand.
Really an amazing performance. Both sides, great shot making on Shannon's part, coming back in both matches to win her 5th title. Kamron Doyle becoming the youngest one to ever win, and heart goes out to Danielle McEwan, who dominated the entire week. Only to lose in the one-game match, and then Marshall Kent, who made a great rally today to take over the lead in the very last frame, only to get a couple bad breaks at the end and end up coming a little bit short. But I'm sure we will see all 4 of those players again, and I think a great way to finish up a great week. Biggest team trials ever, most number of participants, probably the most talented field that's been here to date, at least until next year, and so I don't envy the coach's decisions.
It's going to be tough. We're going to find out what those decisions are here in just a minute, live here on Bowl TV. Chris, thanks for sitting in, and good luck. Hope you're one of the ones that gets picked.
Yeah, I better start campaigning. I think it's too late.
Chris Barnes, thanks for joining us today, and we are about to get started with our announcement of the Team USA members for 2015, as well as Junior Team USA. So stand by.
What an exciting finish, ladies and gentlemen. How about a big round of applause for all the bowlers here this week? My name's Jason Thomas. I'm with the USBC. This is the head coach of Team USA. His name is Rod Ross. And Rod, theme this week seemed to be youth.
It's extremely talented field, a lot of youth in there. The future is very bright for this game. I've been able to travel all over the world, see competitions, and I tell you, from one end to the other, there's more talent here this week than I've seen anywhere else in the world.
So future looks bright for Team USA. What's coming up on the horizon for this year in terms of competition?
Okay, this year the women are going to be bowling World Championships in Abu Dhabi. The men are going to be bowling the American Zone Championships, which is called PAPCON in Puerto Rico. And our youth team is going to be all down in Panama, and they're going to be bowling for the the PAPCON American Championships. The big competition we have, though, is the Pan American Games going to be in Toronto. And this is one phase of the qualifying for Team USA to represent USA at the Pan Am Games, which is going to be the equivalent to the Olympic Games that we compete in.
You ready to meet the team, Rod?
Yeah, I've been waiting all week.
All right, before we get to that, we just want to thank the Orleans for being a great host again this year. Also like to thank Brunswick for helping out with the scores this week, and Kegel, the official lane maintenance supplier for the USBC. So first, how about a big round of applause for all of the competitors who laid it all out on the line this week. It's a grueling format, 5 days of competition. And at the end of the week, we have a great team. All right, so who wants to meet Team USA? All right, we're going to start with Junior Team USA, the women. All right, we've got qualifiers from Junior Gold, and let's just hold your applause. I'll announce all those names, and then if you're here, you can come down and stand with well, I would say the rest of the team, but they're not here yet, but you will be shortly. Julia Bond, Brianna Clemmer, Melanie Hannon, Shanoa Rhodes, Stephanie Schwartz, and Caitlin Simpson. Congratulations. We also have 2 automatic qualifiers from performance in this week's tournament. Those ladies, JD Scott Jones and Jasmine Mason. This large gentleman standing next to me is the managing director of the national governing body, Neil Stremmel. How about a big round of applause?
He's tall, not large.
Oh, he is. That's true. It's true. He's tall. All right, now we have our selections. Selection number 1, based on performance here at the team trials, Sydney Brummett.
And our second selection based on performance here at team trials, Mary Wells. All right, let's move on to the boys team. The 2015 Junior Team USA. These boys qualified based on their performance at Junior Gold. Michael Coffey. Kamron Doyle. Wesley Lowe. Michael Preston. Kyle Sherman. And Michael Tang.
These are the automatics.
All right, we also have 2 automatic qualifiers based on performance here this week. Matt Farber. And Greg Young. And our additional 2 selections based on performance at team trials, Dallas Leong. And Kenneth Ryan. All right, congratulations, all you guys. It's your Junior Team USA, men and women. All right, next we have the Adult Team USA. And 2 qualifiers from Summer Team Trials. If you're here, please come on down. Kayla Johnson and Shannon O'Keefe. We also have 3 automatic qualifiers based on performance this week. You saw them all bowl in the Stepladder finals. Number 1, Liz Johnson. Danielle McEwan. And your 2015 Team USA Women's Trials champion, Shannon Pluhowsky. We now have 7 selections. First, based on performance in team trials, Brianna Caldwell. Next, based on performance in team trials, Erin McCarthy. Next, based on performance in team trials and resume, Brittany Hamilton. Based on resume and performance in team trials, Missy Parkin. Based on resume and performance in team trials, Josie Ernest. Based on resume and performance in team trials, Kelly Kulik. And the final selection for 2015 Women's Team USA, based on resume, performance in team trials, and performance in summer team trials, Stephanie Johnson. Now for our men's 2015 Team USA. 2 automatic qualifiers from summer team trials. If you're here, please come on down. Chris Coella. And I know this gentleman is not here either, Mike Fagan. Our 3 qualifiers from this week's tournament, you saw them bowl in the Stepladder finals. Number 1, A.J. Chapman. Marshall Kent. And our 2015 Team USA Men's Trials champion, the youngest in the history of the tournament, 16 years old, Kamron Doyle. Now for our selections. Pretty soon, Rob, you're not going to have you're not going to have a junior Team USA anymore, are you? It's just going to be Team USA because everyone's so young. First selection, based on performance in team trials and summer team trials, Devin Bidwell. Based on performance in team trials, Tommy Jones. We had to have at least one old guy on the team. Or at least one bald guy. I can say that because I'm bald. Next selection, based on resume and team trials, Bill O'Neill. I got nothing to say about Bill. Next selection, based on resume and performance at team trials, Sean Rash. Based on resume and performance at team trials, John Zerbinski. based on resume and performance at team trials, Chris Barnes.
Check boxes there. It's whether you bowl, not whether you perform.
Yeah, I think that's just resume. Let's be honest.
And our final selection for 2015 Team USA for the men, based on resume and performance at team trials, John Janowitz. Well, that's going to do it. Rod, do you have any final words about your team?
I'm excited about what the people that we have. We have a very strong team, but there was a lot of strong people we had to pass up. And then we really appreciate everyone coming out and competing. It's never easy, but these people are going to represent us for this next year for 2015.
All right, there's your team, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much for coming out. All the bowlers, hope to see you again next year. I'm sure it was a great experience. Thanks to all the folks watching at home on Bowl TV, and we'll see you on our next broadcast.